Hey everybody, Pejman Gadimi wanting to welcome you to my garage. I'm the founder of Exotic Car Hacks and of course an incredible customer, Wheelsboutique. And I want to welcome you to my incredible exotic car collection. Hey everyone, welcome to the Exotic Car Hacks Garage. My name is Pejman Gadimi. I'm the founder of Exotic Car Hacks. You may remember me from Secret Entourage because I've been working with Wheelsboutique since like 2008 in building some of the craziest and coolest cars ever. And today we're actually taking a look at some of my personal favorite exotic cars in my collection, which I call the Exotic Car Hacks collection. So come right in and let's take a look at some of these cars. All right, so right now we're looking at my brand new Lamborghini STO. This is a very rare STO because not only it has all the carbon options, but of course it is also in Blu Glauco. I have literally put this color on the map for Lamborghini in 2018, speccing my first Performante and getting it to spread all over the internet in that color. For this particular car, as you can see, the color is insane. It is incredibly loud. It screams, and it's really a mix of baby blue and Tiffany blue, which is kind of the reason why for the wheels and the way we wanted to customize this car, I wanted to do something very, very unique. I wanted to represent not only the idea of Lamborghini, but almost like the Lamborghini jewel, which was why I decided to do specifically the Anarchies in a polished brush combination that just gives it a very chrome look from far, but up close you can really see the details and how exciting it all comes together. It's almost like a Tiffany ring, like you would expect some crazy beautiful diamond at the center, like just glowing, right? And this is what you're basically getting. You're getting the Tiffany logo with that beautiful diamond right in the center. And so this specific wheel design actually came from, I think, one particular Performante that Wheelsboutique did before. And I really like the way the wheel sat with the Huracan body. But with this finish, I actually went back and forth with John at Anarchy, and we decided together that we were going to do either this color or bronze. And last minute, he called me and said, look, I really think we should stick to the polish and get away from the bronze because we originally had scheduled bronze. And I was like, you know what? This is the best part about wheel design and doing it. It's the collaboration between great minds that have done this for a long time. I've been designing cars since like the early 2000s, and John has been around for quite some time as well. So I said, you know what, let's trust each other and let's get this going. And this is how we came up with this particular finish. And I think the finished product is spectacular. Not only that, and we lowered the car on H&R coilovers, and you'll notice that the fitment is just spectacular. There's no rubbing. It drives just flawlessly and looks absolutely, absolutely beautiful. This is my P1. To me, the P1 design has always been something very, very boring because in 2014, the P1 was the pioneer of the hypercars. But in 2022, there's a lot of hypercars like the Senna and other cool, very futuristic designs that make this very timeless and classic, but takes it out of its whole like wow factor. And McLaren has had a lot of cars like the 570S, the 650S, even the 765 LT that really kind of mimic this. So it's very hard to be like, well, this is very special in design now that you have so much that is made to kind of simulate the same look. So the thing was, the color was very boring. It was this titanium, which was pretty, but the car originally had titanium wheels, titanium color like charcoal wheels, which was really, really boring. I went to Wheelsboutique, and together we decided to bring together a P1 project that was really, really exciting, something different that would not hinder the heritage of the car and would allow you to look at the P1 and say, wow, this is a P1 that looks like it belongs on a racetrack without actually kind of killing the design and the heritage by going too crazy with a concave wheel. Instead, we went to AL13 and decided to do a C005R, I think they call it. And we went with something very different than most P1 owners choose. Usually they go 20-21. I went with a 20 square setup, meaning I wanted to retain this really fat tire, the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup, to give it that race look. And so in order to do that, a lot of people didn't really do the 20 square setup. For that reason, it was kind of a little bit of a hassle back and forth in the offset to get the perfect look. And I mean, when I said perfect, you couldn't go 1 millimeter more and actually not rub. So this car is sitting in race mode and it is as flawless as it comes. Zero rubbing, perfect functionality, lightweight wheel, not as lightweight as the factory, but lightweight enough to not change the driving dynamic, and still allows you to retain a very, very nice, beautiful look, much more exciting than the factory car. So for this particular wheel, we did things a little bit differently. Typically on a wheel like this, you find a ton of rivets in the corner, and you also find a much thicker face. Now, the problem with the thicker face is you create an optical illusion to the wheel that makes it look like right away that you have a much smaller center because it comes out too much. This usually creates a very weird design, especially around this area right here. So we worked with AL13 to have them basically engineer this completely different from any other set they did by making this piece significantly to the smallest amount possible and reverse the rivets so that you wouldn't see them, basically making it a very clean Porsche, 993 look. And I think that's what we're going for, like a kind of a heritage / modern version of the car. So they did that. We went back 3 times back and forth and finally came up with this place where we're able to not only have a 5-inch lip on the rear, real nice step lip, real deep, without the optical illusion in the middle, and are able to retain the 20-inch fat tire in the rear. The factory comes with 1920s, but since the front end of 19 would look very, very tiny, we decided to go with a 20-20 square setup, and I think it came out absolutely spectacular. It looks like a Hot Wheel. It looks like perfection for a P1, and actually if you look at the car from an offset standpoint, you get a perfect view here, and you can see that fat tire, like literally from the inner fender. It is absolutely glorious and one of the best, I think, wheel projects I have ever worked on in my life to bring to life. So special thank you to our friends at AL13 and Wheelsboutique for helping me bring this to life, and of course our friends at Excel Racing for the constant back and forth measuring to get this perfect. In my garage here, you'll find my one-of-one vermilion red McLaren Senna. This is the final Senna ever sold in America. So this was the last car that was ever sold brand new. And it is a one-of-one vermilion red colored car with an MSO tan interior. On top here is one of the final 1998 4S Aero Kit 993 Porsches ever produced, which is pretty exciting. It's got very slight modifications like suspension, turbo S ducts, and just some basic components like exhaust to make it more fun to drive. On this side, you'll find my 1,000 horsepower Ford GT. Also, this particular car was also made 865 wheel horsepower, has a 4-liter Whipple, and wheels and suspension were also put on by Wheelsboutique. Really, really cool car. Doesn't get driven as much because its new big brother is here, the 2019 Ford GT with all carbon options, which is pretty cool, including carbon wheels. This one and the Senna are the only ones that will probably remain stock in my lineup of cars, and there's still another 6-7 cars sitting in my house, many of which also are sitting on Anarchies, including a G-Wagon and an SVJ Roadster, a 101 car. But that's it. And of course, if you haven't met my good robot friend there, that's Rift and that's Hound. These are real-life Transformers made out of 3,000 car and motorcycle parts. weighing about somewhere between 2,500 to 2,800 pounds, 10 feet tall, and just spectacular piece of art. But good luck moving it, so it can't really be stolen if you try.